If you believe you can do something, you will do it. And I had this thought the other day, and it went like this: if you believe you can, you will, with the help of God. And I know it came from God because it came with a lot of peace. So a couple months ago, I had a very interesting experience that I haven't talked about much. I have with my very, very close people, but it didn't really happen to me, but I witnessed it. And this was me witnessing a miracle, witnessing somebody very close to me getting healed by prayer. And in that moment, I couldn't either explain it or deny it, and it happened in a matter of seconds. And in that moment, my heart knew it was true. So I'm not expecting you to believe me because I would have not probably. The only reason why I believed it and it's changed my path, my belief system, my story is because I saw it and I didn't side with anybody. It was somebody that I knew very well or I know very well. It changed a lot of also how I started seeing all the God moments along the way, and the more I started trusting when I started doing things. So I traveled to Norway by myself, and I did some solo traveling in it, in the country. And there was so many times that I didn't know how things were going to work out. There were so many times I didn't have even a plan. There were so many times I didn't even know where I was going to sleep the next day, or if I was going to be able to shower. And I realized that when I would ask God and I would be like, God, I don't know what to do. Help me with this. And I would just let it go. Things would work out. There was so many God moments. And I had a lot of peace through it, even in the times that I was sleeping in the car and I didn't know what was going to happen next day. And I was in a foreign country. Um, so, anyways, let me tell you some stories because this is where I started really seeing how it was happening in my life. So at first, I was staying in the camping grounds and I was there with friends. But where I was staying, it wasn't going to be available anymore, like in 2 days. And I was like, I don't know where I'm going to stay. There's no place I can rent. And at one point, I was like, you know what, God, I'll just leave it to you. And in a matter of like 15, 20 minutes, the owner came to me and said, Tally, if you help me do some work, then you can stay with me. And then after that, I ended up climbing the highest mountain in Norway, and and I was supposed to take the bus. I was an hour and a half away from the mountain, and I had to take the bus. And the bus left me, or it never came. I don't know. But I was there 30 minutes waiting for the bus, and I didn't know what I was going to do. And so I went and I asked a couple um, if they were driving that way, and they said yes, but not that far. So they just left me in the nearest town, and then I was going to call a taxi, but it was like 200 euros. And so I just decided to keep hitchhiking, and one car after another started to stop to take me, and they took me all the way to the mountain. And then when I was climbing down the mountain, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do now. There's no buses going back. I guess I'll just hitchhike. And I was there standing with my arm, and it had been like 30, 40 minutes and no cars were stopping. And then a bus was passing, but it was going another direction. And he stopped and said, get on the bus. And I was like, but I'm going that way. He's like, I know, get on the bus. And I was like, but you're going that way and I'm going that way. And he was like, I know, get on the bus. And so I got in the bus and I was confused, right? Because I was like, I don't get it. Like, it's going the other way. And then I recognized the driver. He was the friend of the owners of the lodging where I was staying. And he said, my shift is about to be over. So just go with me until, the last stop, and then I'll take you back. And so he did. And then I met a really, really close friend that lived in front of where I was staying. And it was life-changing to meet her. We had a lot of great times. And she said I also helped her in many ways. And I think, God is there because I honestly don't know how all of these synchronicities would have happened if it wasn't God. If I was not protected, if it wasn't somebody catching me right along the way. And then I realized that I was meant to meet everybody that I met along the way. And I was meant to help the people that I was meant to help and that I was meant to meet. And 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 I met the people that were meant to help me. And there was so many things, like when my car, I had a problem with the car, and the person that was gonna fix it was right in front of where I was when I was, like, in the middle of nowhere. And so I realized that, like, when you ask help for God, He is there. And when you realize that it's not all over your shoulders, then you can step forward and you can go towards where you want to go, towards when you want to step. And once you start to walk the way, then you realize that you're not alone and that things start to synchronize. And I call those God moments. And I saw this a lot also in other people's journeys. And so the message that I really, really wanted to give you is that do it. If you believe you can, you will. And how do you believe you can? Knowing that you're not alone, knowing that there's something else guiding you, helping you, that will be there if you have faith. I will be posting at some point the videos of this journey and in Norway, and but I really, really wanted to share this because I want to encourage you to go for things that you want to do because you're not alone. Anyways, my camera's about to turn off. I don't have much battery, so I want to wish you the most beautiful day or the most beautiful night. Sending loves.